just go after it and try it.
Then there's the Mosers, who may mention from the seat of their John Deere Gator UTV.
You can't be all work and not play.
There are millions of ways to make the most of your land. Learn how to make the most of yours at Deere.com. Nothing runs like a Deere.
As a mom, I know how my little guy's feeling just by listening. That's happy. And that's a stuffy nose. So that's when I use Vicks Sinex Children's Saline Nasal Mist.
Instantly clear mucus at the source with Vicks Sinex Children's Saline. Get fast, drug-free relief from everyday stuffy noses for ages 1 and up. Vicks Sinex Children's Saline. Look for the Vicks branded nasal spray in the cold and flu aisle. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Located at 5410 Murfreesboro Road in the heart of Laverne, City Slickers is one-stop shopping for all your liquor, beer, and wine needs and has been a multiple winner annually in the Best of Rutherford County voting for Best Liquor Store and Top Wine Shop. Featuring the lowest prices, the best customer service with unsurpassed knowledge, City Slickers offers the largest craft beer selection in Rutherford and southeastern Davidson counties and has beer on tap at its Growler filling station. City Slickers also sells mixers, sodas, snacks, tobacco products, and the Tennessee Lottery, and can place special orders and assist with all your events and even wedding planning. Make sure you follow City Slickers on all their social media or just give them a call at 615-280-7469. That's 615-280-7469. Located in the heart of Laverne, City Slickers.
Oh my God! Okay, it's happening.
It's the afternoon stretch with Zach Williams and Bruno Reagan.
Everybody stay calm. Stay calm.
Let's take some calls from the public, shall we?
Join the afternoon stretch now on the Cure Hotline. 615-844-5600. Now here's Bruno and Zach.
4 o'clock here in the Music City, so you know what time it is. Time for the afternoon stretch here on Nashville Sports Radio. Bruno Reagan, Devlin McKenzie, Zach Williams coming to you live here from the Strike and Spare Family Fun Center studio. So glad to have you alongside us on this Friday, last day of September. My wife's birthday. Happy birthday, Maggie. A lot of good things going on today. Bruno Reagan, how are you doing?
Pretty good. Good morning, San Diego. What a game yesterday. Well, what does he say in the show? You know what I'm talking about. Anchorman.
Yeah.
Is it Good Morning San Diego?
San Diego.
I've always wanted to visit San Diego. Anyways.
You did.
Hey, and also you really wanted to talk today. So what do you want to talk about?
I want to talk about Devlin McKenzie. Devlin, how are you doing today over there behind the boards here in the Strike and Spare Family Fun Center studio?
Doing good. Coming off a big Bengals pick last night.
Bengals.
Feeling good about it.
My gosh.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
We're going to be talking about that. We're definitely going to be talking about that today. If you want to get involved, we want to hear from you. 615-844-5600. That's the Cure hotline, wide open right now for you on this weekend. We're headed to the weekend at least. Today has felt like Saturday, which feels that makes me excited because that means tomorrow will feel like Sunday, and then Sunday will feel like Bond Day. It's a new day, right? It's just new. Who knows? Whatever it is, it's just it's going to be an extra week.
We're
My
off
head's
next
already
Wednesday,
there,
aren't we?
Yes, we are.
That sucks.
Why?
Considering we were supposed to start something special next
Oh,
week.
yes.
Try and get that worked around.
Yes.
Glad that just popped up in my
maybe
head.
Thursday.
Yeah, hopefully.
If not Tuesday. But something special is in the works. This is, like when movies come out, they have a teaser, and then what happens after the teaser? You get a trailer. So this is the teaser. Be on the lookout for next week for the trailer on Monday, because hopefully we'll have a Monday trailer for you. And then Tuesday might be your premiere, or Thursday, but no Wednesday, because no show next Wednesday.
Yep. Roll out the red carpet.
Oh, it's someone special. It's someone very special. That's all. The teaser. That's all you get. Nothing more, nothing less, but nothing more. How are you doing? You good? I feel like I'm all
the. I just was thinking about spoiling it, just like that. I don't know. I thought it would have been funny. I stopped. But if you're listening, you probably put it through.
Maybe you did. Maybe you didn't. I feel like I have all the energy today. You have zero energy today. It feels like, and really, it should be the adverse.
I don't know. I feel like you just love hearing yourself talk, so I was letting him go.
Well, I mean, I got into radio. I think I do. I think everybody. You think anybody gets in this business and they're like, I hate hearing myself talk. Wrong. They all are self-righteous gas bags.
Well, here's the thing. I don't think you can be like, I have all the energy today when you have done nothing but run your mouth.
I got all the energy.
Loser.
I got all the energy. I'm going here. I'm feeling. I'm popping. It's Friday. Like I said, I'm on Saturday mode right now. Like, this is what I would be like on Saturday. And you feel like you're on Wednesday.
Did you just see me try to talk and you're like, oh, I feel like I can't tell if this is a bit or not.
No bit. I'm just up, baby. I'm up.
I'm opening my mouth and then you keep talking. God, you were so pretentious.
Devlin, turn my mic off. Bruno, take over.
Thank you. All right, keep it off, Devlin, or else you're losing your job. Anyways, guys.
We have a meeting on Monday, 1 p.m.
I have
Come
a
on
question.
in.
If you call in and let me know. If you lose your call of the week, like if you call a game on one way, but you win a bet inside of the game, are you a loser? Call in 615-844-5600. I've always operated off the fact that if you make a pick for a game and it's decision, but you're like, but I'm betting this, and you win that bet, that is like way more valuable than actually winning the pick. So I always consider that a winner. So for what it's worth, Zach Williams is not a total loser. He is a little bit of a loser for coming on. He was so smug about it, so wrong. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
I was so wrong, but I was also so right.
About what? The Tyreek Hill?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Tyreek Hill had a great day. And
That
it's not
was
like, It's not like that was an exclusive lock of yours.
Oh, it was. I came up with that. I said it first on the show.
You did. And I mean, I was like, yeah, that's a great play.
And it terrific. And you know what? That's what I put money on. I didn't put money on the Dolphins straight up. And I feel better for it.
Yeah. What about these primetime unders, man? I try to tell people. Every time I post my Bruno's bets, they're like, primetime on Thursday Night Football? You're taking the under? And I'm like, yes, I am taking the under. And I'm going to keep taking it because it keeps hitting.
I mean, so far, if you have done that, you're like 9-1 right now. Something like that, I think, is where it's at. It's crazy.
Unders and underdog money lines in the National Football League. That's what's going to make you money, especially this. What did I tell you, Zach? What did I tell you about this game specifically? Do you even remember, or does it go in one ear, out the other?
I'm feeling, Devin, I'm feeling a little hate coming from over here today.
Yeah,
What's
Devin,
going on?
Is there a lot of hate, Devin?
I said Devlin.
No.
It's a little hot in this room, that's for sure.
What's going on here?
There's tension in the air.
Devlin, you might have to play referee here in a bit.
Well, you came in with these bold accusations saying I have no energy. You know, it's you got to fear the quiet man in the room. That's one thing. For another thing,
what was Teddy Roosevelt? Walk softly and carry a big stick.
First of all,
where's your big stick? Show me it.
Hey, you can't say that. Anyways, I hate it when people bring up that quote because that's a big O lineman quote. They're like, whenever you get on a new team, they're like, go up, tell me 3 things about you, your favorite person, who inspires you, and I'm not kidding. Someone always goes, walk softly and carry a big stick. It's like Get real.
Low key, it's pretty hard though that like a president said that in the time that he was in, and he was like on the Rough Riders. Like this guy was like,
I don't believe anything that happened before 1900. To be honest,
I thought it was 1960. I go off the basis of 1960 for the most part.
Yeah,
sports wise, definitely.
No
record before 1960 counts.
Hold on, when was Teddy Roosevelt even alive? 26 U.S. president. That's not 1900s.
No, it's
1901
well
to 1909. So he invented history.
Yeah,
but
for you.
Do you ever see those quotes where it's like on TikTok, especially TikTok's one of the worst, and it'll be like Marcus Aurelius and something so valid to like today, and it's like, did he really say that? Did he really say that? I think people just make stuff up. That's just me though. And speaking of make stuff up, let's talk about Dolphins and Tua. There's a lot of people just making stuff up right now.
So let's
explain it.
This is, if you didn't watch the game last night, you probably saw this because I feel like it's racing around the news right now. Tua, back on Sunday, playing the Buffalo Bills, had what was described as a back injury. If you watch the footage in this game, after he takes a hit against the Bills, he is having a hard time just walking. They said that the back injury was messing up his equilibrium. In 8 minutes, not 8 game minutes, but 8 real-life minutes, from him having that hit, stumbling on the ground, trying to make it to the sideline, an independent, this is a key part of this, an independent observer that the NFL hires for each of these games to monitor head conditions and concussions and all this, not the teams that are doing it, it's independent guys doing it. They deemed him to be able to play. He came back out. They ended up beating the Buffalo Bills. Now flash 4 or 5 days forward here, and you have Thursday Night Football last night. Tua comes out, and this was early second quarter when this happened. This ended up coming out. Tua is thrown and whiplashed again on his head. And if you were watching this is one of the most gruesome concussions that you could ever see. Mm-hmm. And concussions are weird as a whole already, because you could have a tiny hit and it could be a severe concussion, and you could have a big hit and it could be a minor concussion. But this was Tua's hands locked into place. They were sitting in front of him. He was rolled over. His eyes looked like they were the back of his head. This was as bad as you can get of an optics. I'm not going to go into what it really was for his concussion, because I don't know, and nobody really knows. But as optics, it looked terrible.
And you've been around, I guess, this thing more than me, so maybe there's still a lot of questions. I default to you just so I don't feel crazy. What do you feel about Amazon nonstop showing, like zooming in on his fingers? Like, as a viewer, I don't want to see that. Once, out of responsibility for, like, I guess, reporting and stuff like that, but replaying the same extremely gruesome injury 30 times, where for all we know he could have been having like brain damage, and I didn't like seeing it over and over again. Are there conversations in these rooms where it's like, hey, just keep playing that, or is there any ounce of respect for anybody anymore?
I'll tell you this, the first day of my schooling, of course I went to University of Tennessee at Chattanooga. It's accredited communications major there. The first day, and I think for a lot of people that took any kind of journalism, media class, anything like that, the first day, the first sentence that was ever mentioned to me was, if it bleeds, it leads. So anytime there's something gruesome, doesn't matter. They're going to show that on TV. They're going to show it anyway, and then it goes for all mediums. And that was a terrifying, disgusting scene that just sold about $40 million of advertising at some point because of the rating spike that they got for that. They just got more subscribers. They just got all of it. And that's the real dark side about this kind of stuff. That the advertising rates after 9/11 went up for CNN. Because they had the shot and everybody was watching it and they could sell it. And I'm not claiming anything. I'm just saying that's the business of it all. And that's every channel, that's everything you listen to. This is all done for marketing. That's the real side of all this. So when you see that situation, that is why that happened. They're going to show that because they want to see the clicks and the algorithm pick it up on Twitter and the clips of it and everybody sharing it and all these different posts. That's the real side. And there's a lot of people that are upset about this because not only the way they were handling with the camera side, but the way that there was just zero conversation about how Tua, with the Buffalo situation to now, there was zero. Richard Sherman's up there. He's hired by Amazon, part of this team now. Richard Sherman was one of the top people in the game of football that was giving sound like, we need to protect against concussions. We need to figure this out. And the second he gets his bag, the second he gets his check, he is zip mouth live on television not talking about this.
Well, and here's the thesis of all my thinking. When you hear what I'm going to say regarding Tua and the Dolphins the entire day, refer back to this statement. There is only one way to get out injury-free in football, and that is to not play it. Mm-hmm. Not play it a single time. That is the only way you're going to get out of this thing injury-free. Football, if you play at any serious level, I consider a serious level above Division II and higher. If you play at any serious level, you will get injured over a 4-year period. A severe injury that hinders your day-to-day activity. That will happen. How drastic? I don't know, but football's 100% injury rate. The only question I have is still going back to Sunday, but if in the National Football League, people think it's some crazy conspiracy to get Tua on the field. Years ago, that could be a legit thing, but not anymore. Not with the National Football League, because they know the stakes. You throw a concussed guy out there willingly and try to cover it up, people are going to lose their jobs. I think there is a media and there's a true emotion coming out of it too. When I saw that hit, I think I made a tweet. I was like, I was upset. I didn't even know what. I was just upset, and I made an upset tweet, some swearing in it, because you never want to see a guy, take an injury that could take years off his life, which is what brain injuries do. Mm-hmm. But I had, day to sleep on it, and there's a lot of people that come out and they're like, we have to stop head trauma in the National Football League. It's like, that's never going to happen.
That kills me with the rhetoric of it, too, from the NFL side of it, where they're like, we want player safety to be our number one.
And we hear shows coming in. We hear shows on CBS. And I feel like a lot of people are pandering to the emotional appeal to Tua right now, when really the NFL seemed to have done everything right up until the point. Now, Sunday, if someone is experiencing symptoms, you can't just ask them on the spot, are you ready to go? Because technically, if you are concussed, you don't have the autonomy to make those decisions. The doctors have to make it for you. And if they have a third-party doctor on the field alongside with your own doctor and they clear you, and those tests, they're not easy. I mean, he probably spent all halftime doing those things. And when you go home after the game, you have to take more tests on the computer. I mean, it's like an hour-long test just to test your functionality, your response systems. It sucks doing those tests. And I guarantee you they made him do it like once every day or two. He was clear. It is what it is.
Yeah, he was good. And once again, independent. It's not the team. That's where a lot of people...
It is the team, too. The team clears him, and then it goes to the independent.
But he has to go to the independent, and that's who cleared him. It wasn't like, the doctors were swayed because they work for the Dolphins.
Yeah.
That's the, we've had Dr. Alan Sills, who is the chief medical officer for the NFL on this very show. And this is a serious matter to them. What they did all training camp and off season with the halo caps and how they're trying to prevent these things and learn more about it. The real side of it is the knowledge that goes into concussions is about the equivalent of the knowledge that goes into the human heart back in the 1960s. There's still so much that we don't know about the human brain and when it takes concussions, when it takes punishment like this, because there's a lot of the rhetoric. Once again, it's not the big blazing hits that are destroying brains. One of the highest rates of CTE is not American football. It is soccer. It's premier football because of the tiny hits that when they headers on the balls and things like that. It's not these big giant blows. It's the constant hitting and jarring of your head. That's actually where they do know that. And they see the numbers there. So there's still so much unknown. I just think after an episode like that, and everybody was like, oh, it was just a concussion, because that was like the immediate receival of information was he's moving all his legs, he's moving all of his his ligaments and things like that. And everybody's like, okay, good, just a concussion. Just a concussion is a really wide term for you to be like, oh, thank God it was just a concussion, for a guy who clearly has had 2 back-to-back concussions in 4 days. That's where I sit at, and I say, how do you celebrate over that? It's not just a concussion. Tua was rocked. I mean, if Tua plays next week, I am wildly on the side of the conspiracy theorists out there that the NFL is just making sure it doesn't matter. I will be on that side. If Tua plays next week, I will be on that side, because he should not be playing next week at the very least.
No, I don't think there's any shot he plays next week.
I don't think there is either.
I think there is 2 weeks. I think 2 weeks timetable is a realistic thing. You just don't know until so the concussions work. They a lot of teams do phases. Leagues and teams, they do phases. Phase 1 through 4. And anytime you fail a phase, you have to go back to 1. And the timetable is typically 1 is just your recovery until you can handle things like bright lights, so-and-so, and reaction times. Mm-hmm. Then you get on the field. A lot of the times concussions make people puke just exerting physical activity. Your bodily response systems don't act the same. So they'll make you do some sprints, and if you fail that, you go back to 1, and then you go all the way through 4. And if you complete each phase, 3 is a return to jersey practices, skill position stuff, seeing if you can remember plays off the fly, and 4 is full go. If you can get all the way through 4 phases, I mean, you're clear, and that's the way. The problem is, I mean, you said it earlier. We might never understand brain injury and brain trauma to the fullest extent, just because of how sensitive the brain is of a thing to study and research. I mean, you can't even diagnose CTE. A lot of people self-diagnose it, which I always have a big problem with self-diagnosis. But
a lot of bro science.
Yeah, there is a lot of bro science. And if you're an NFL player that played 20 years and you're like, I have CTE, like, not trying to name drop people, but when I hear Frank Wycheck talk, I'm like, yeah, you have it, bro. It is what it is. But guys like me, there are a few people that might genuinely make it out. Mm-hmm. So it is what it is, but we will never understand it fully in my lifetime.
Here's the other side too. We, and I say we as a society, are not Tua's parents.
No.
And Tua is a grown man. And if you know, and that's where a lot of these football players, they know the ramifications of they see it now. I mean, we may not know the real study of it, but there's been plenty of cases out there. Junior Seau, obviously one of the bigger ones. There's been tons of them out there now that you see what happens with prolonged use of playing the sport of football, and really just head trauma as a whole. And I mean, who are you to stop? If Tua is clear to play and he is past the concussion protocol, then if Tua wants to keep going, Tua wants to keep going. You know, this isn't varsity blues. This is real life. They're gonna make their own decisions, and there's millions of dollars on the line for them. So there's the other side of that. There's a lot to talk about this. We got to run to our first break. If you want to jump in, the Cure hotline wide open, 615-844-5600. Got a great show today. When we come back, we'll have Cecil Joyce. He is with the USA Today Network, high school sports writer here in the local area. We're going to talk some high school sports. But later on, Fantasy Football Fridays, we have the McFarlands coming on. Justin McFarland will be on, one of the McFarlands, that is, coming on in studio today as well. Talk about their no show that's going to be here 2 to 4 starting Monday. Whole lot of other things. Bruno's bets. We got our safe locks of the week. A lot of things happening. But once again, the Cure hotline always wide open. 615-844-5600. Back after this here on the afternoon stretch.
Your fresh start today. That's 800-312-9970.
When I got out of the Marine Corps, I was not just, working with my physical disabilities, I was emotionally broken. I remember thinking, how did I get here? How? It was affecting me in my marriage. My husband, he didn't know how to help me. He actually called Wounded Warrior Project. Wounded Warrior Project had this thing called Couples Odyssey.
It was an eye-opener, and I think it really saved our marriage.
They gave us books and resources and tools on how to help us with that. I just love him. I love you, honey.
Watching her fight for her mental health, fighting for other veterans, fighting for this family, helped me to fight too. Well, I always love her. I love her 10 times more.
Not all wounds are visible. If you or a loved one are suffering, visit woundedwarriorproject.org/notalone.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control of your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank accounts, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problem now by calling the experts at U.S. Tax Shield and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. U.S. Tax Shield offers a price protection guaranteed quote to get you protected today. U.S. Tax Shield is A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, so call now. 800-785-9132. That's 800-785-9132. U.S. Tax Shield. 800-785-9132.
Tennessee Lottery. Please play responsibly.
From scholarship and grant programs to providing students with the qualifications and certifications they need to start their professional careers, the Tennessee Lottery has awarded more than $6.5 billion in funding to education programs, and we're proud to play our part. See for yourself how all of the fun of the Tennessee Lottery goes to supporting someone's future and a brighter tomorrow at tnlottery.com.
Whether it's getting your day started with a clear mind, taking the edge off after a busy day, or hitting the reset button at night, Cure helps us be our most productive selves. Completely organic and free of THC, pesticides, and heavy metals, Cure focuses on specific need states with great-tasting CBD products designed to help you focus, chill, and sleep. And that is exactly what the Cure brand products are named. Focus, chill, and sleep. Now available at select MAPCO locations. Visit thecurebrand.com to learn more and follow them on social media. Alpine Concrete is on the air saluting the brave men and women of our U.S. military. Their tireless efforts each and every day will never go unnoticed. This proud salute is brought to you by Alpine Concrete, serving the greater Nashville area with quality and pride. For all of your residential and commercial concrete needs, call today for a free estimate at 615-474-7859. That's 615-474-7859. Alpine Concrete, the professionals who care.
Your exclusive Nashville Sports Radio WNSR Sky Scan forecast for this afternoon calls for sunny and breezy conditions. Our high 78 with winds to 25 miles an hour. Tonight it'll be clear with a low of 50 with winds to 20 miles an hour. We'll have a sunny, breezy Saturday. Our high 77 and winds to 20 miles an hour. It'll be mostly sunny and breezy Sunday with a high of 73. Utilizing the resources of the Weatherbug Network on Nashville Sports Radio, I'm WNSR's Rod Tanner.
Sports Radio WNSR.
The afternoon stretch. The best show? I don't know if I can say that, man. I'm going to move on to the next one.
The afternoon stretch. Bruno Reagan, Devlin McKenzie, Zach Williams here inside the Strike and Spare Family Fun Center studio. If you want to get involved, the Cure hotline, 615-844-5600. Still trying to get a hold of Cecil. We'll be waiting on that one just for a little. Might have to push that up just a little bit. Who knows? All the same. Bruno Reagan and myself are here, which is simply all you need on the afternoon stretch.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned it. You said, what if Kamara has that game tomorrow? Guess what I see on my TikTok feed? 5 Alvin Kamara highlight videos. Guess who's trending today? Alvin Kamara. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's happening. So when we get to our locks of the week, I think I'm starting to creep towards one.
Oh, I'm excited to hear
I got to get back in the win column.
London game.
Yeah.
There's just nothing worse because that game starts like 9:30 in the morning.
There's no like prime showcase ever in these international games. It's like, here you go, London, Andy Dalton. He's like, frick. He's on the field. He's like, oh, frick it.
Coach really needs us to do well, guys.
Guys, coach is right. Stop swearing.
Germany's going to get it. They get Tom Brady, but London has not. They keep getting the Jaguars versus the Vikings.
We need to get into the German market.
Well, see, you say these things, and I don't even know what it means.
What do you mean? Because you know you can swear on live German stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
They seem like they get away with a lot over there.
Let's not go too deep into that.
Well, I'm just saying nowadays. I'm not going back then. I'm talking about nowadays.
Well, nowadays, too. I mean, there's still a lot of, hey, never mind. We're not political. I don't never want the show to be my thoughts on global socio-economic.
And the real side of this is I know nothing about it.
Me neither. I just want to act like I
do. You read a forum and you're like, I got it.
Those are the worst type of people. Let's talk about who are the worst type of people.
I want to talk about this. I want to keep it with the Bengals and the Dolphins last night. Do you think if Tua doesn't get that hit, because this was the whole thing we talked about yesterday in the pick'ems. I was for sure on the Dolphins winning that game. Teddy Bridgewater came in and looked good, actually. He threw the interception, obviously, there at the end. But it started to seem like they were going to drive down the field and score that touchdown and give themselves the lead late in that game to set up a possible Joe Burrow 2-minute drive to win the game, to put him in field goal position. If Tua stays in, Tua doesn't go down, do you feel like they were going to win that game?
No, Teddy Bridgewater, other than the interception, maybe. But it would have been a close game regardless, and I think the Bengals still would have edged it out. Would it have been closer with Tua in? Yeah. But, I mean, Teddy played pretty well. It's just the Bengals were playing that much better. I mean, what is Tua being in going to stop the Bengals wide receivers from absolutely dusting the Dolphins secondary? That's a true problem the Dolphins have. And not to bring it around to something unirrelevant, but Tennessee fans, I was arguing with them, your offense is so great, you don't see the big problem in front of you. Dolphins fans were 3-0, and I think you bought into the hype just a little bit, not to be too accusatory of you. But I was like, there are massive problems with, not massive, but there are big problems with the Dolphins. And I think them overcoming has shadowed them to the point where now it explodes. And you're like, oh, well, they lost to Bengal Joe Burrow. And just on this very show, you're like, they lost to Cooper Rush. And now, you could do that whole cycle.
But if I still believe Tua stays in, they beat him. I mean, we're talking about a game that was 15-12 going into the fourth quarter. Wasn't like this was just some barn burner.
And the Dolphins, excuse me, not the Dolphins, but the Bengals were controlling the fourth quarter off their own volition.
I think, just like we've seen with this Dolphins team before.
It's like saying Derek Carr could have done something when they were playing the Cardinals in that fourth quarter. Remember? He was just not on the field.
But, no, true. True. But we've seen the Dolphins way behind in the fourth quarter already this season, and Tua, for some reason, just shows up in those times. Has in college and has here. And so I really think the fourth quarter actually, I mean, Tyreek Hill was on a tirade. Felt like they could have thrown to him a million times. 10 for 160.
No, I know. No, he played really well, and they were feeding him. They kept feeding him after they threw a really bad pick to his direction. So,
well, a lot of people are talking about Teddy Bridgewater's glove in that situation.
Was that Teddy? It was a Tua pick, wasn't it? No, Tua didn't.
Tua had a pick as well.
That was the bad one. Very much underthrew him into double coverage, just trying to force the ball to Tyreek. If anything, we could have seen Tua keep trying to force it off of that rhetoric. He told us what he was going to do. And I don't mind if you live and die by that, but I'm just saying I don't think Tua Tagovailoa is like, if he's in, we win easy.
Well, and I think it's all the injuries. I mean, didn't Byron Jones also got injured last night as well? It's cornerback for the Dolphins. I think there was a plethora of injuries that screwed my pick. That's what I wanted to say out of all this. I think if they didn't get injured, if it was a fully healthy team, if we played this game again, everybody was fully healthy back to it, I think the Dolphins win. Still would keep it.
If only that's how football works in any reality.
You're right. I should have prepared for more injuries. Nobody bets like that. Nobody picks like that.
It's something to keep in mind. Like with the Saints playing this weekend. It's something to keep in mind as you get into the game.
But you're not going to sit there and think, I wonder if Andy Dalton's going to get his leg snapped in half. So I better bet the under.
You could look at Tua Sunday and be like, I don't know if I trust this. Dude was there. It's not like this concussion thing was new. It was active discussion the entire week going into the game yesterday.
15-14 actually going into the fourth quarter. Sorry.
And Teddy was the one who got him there.
Well, for sure. I mean,
no, if Tua played, he would have put on a Superman cape.
In the fourth quarter, I think he would have, yes.
Did his little dance. Real quick, if you're watching live video.
Does he have a dance? No. I actually don't know if he has a dance.
He would have done a little dance.
Would have done the AB.
The AB one is so good.
It is. I mean, everything the guy does is great, besides being
psycho.
Yeah.
But I don't think that stops, 30-yard, 40-yard, 50-yard passes to Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. I don't think that saves them at all.
I just think it's unfair that I'm going to lose this pick. I think technically I should be out of the pick. It should not count against the record. No win, but no loss.
So that's a Zach Williams thing, moral victories, moral losses.
No, that's not a moral anything.
You just don't want to take accountability.
No. I was unjustly taken away from the best assets of the team that I went for. That's all it is.
Counter argument, if there's one thing we've learned about the Bengals is that their number one kryptonite is backup quarterbacks. If Tua stays in this game, Bengals run up the score even more, in my opinion.
That's what I'm
Teddy Bridgewater.
I think the Dolphins really saved some alternate spreads maybe.
Tua is a fourth quarter quarterback. 28 against the Ravens is not a fluke.
Well, if he's out there in the fourth quarter, yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Maybe.
If he's out there, I think I still rock with my pick. And I'm good. And I'm sitting here looking at y'all the way you're looking at me.
Well, a real statistician, a real pick'em type of guy would take in all factors to effect. Okay, has the backup quarter. If anything, you should feel lucky you even got that close. I'm with Devlin. I think Teddy Bridgewater actually kept him in. I think he kept him in it more than Tua would have.
How does he throw with gloves on?
Very easily. You just throw the ball.
I don't know. Doesn't it look like it's just wrong?
No.
If you're going to have a backup, though, it's good to have Teddy Bridgewater. You don't think it doesn't look wrong? What do you think, Devlin? Do you think it looks wrong?
It looks like whenever Odell Beckham would get like some random flea flicker ball and he'd throw it downfield. It just looks like that. It looks like a skill player out there throwing the ball. It's weird for sure, but I mean, I don't know if it's a benefit or what. I have no idea. I didn't play.
Teddy Bridgewater is better than Jacoby Brissett. Fair?
They're pretty close. Yeah. I don't know if I'd say that. I'd probably say Jacoby, to be honest, because Jacoby would be starting for a team, and if Teddy was so good, he'd be starting for a team.
Yeah,
because there's a lot of teams out there that need quarterback help.
Yeah, I just don't know. That was tough for me to swallow that pill that I lost. But like I said, I didn't do any. There was no money. There was nothing. It was just straight on Tyreek Hill on the over, which I should have alternate spread that probably and jumped that up to like 120. Would have been an easy hit on that one.
Well, good luck. You're not going to get that again because if that game ever happens again, they're going to put the line at like 105.
Yeah.
That's going to be a tough one.
Yeah, they're never going to give him that. I mean, it was crazy. That one felt so obvious because of the first 2 weeks he goes over 90 both times, and then he just has one down game. And it's like, it's going to happen. I'm telling you, Las Vegas is slipping. They're slipping a little bit.
No, they're not. They stole more money again.
Oh, they stole maybe, but I still think they're slipping a little bit. I'm catching it.
They're unironically performing better. You're
in certain areas, in the big numbers. But if you just look a little bit, you can see where they're slipping. And I'm finding it. I've found it. That would have been my lock of the week had I had a chance to put that as my lock of the week, and then that would make me 4-0 in my lock of the weeks. Which we started off terribly, but now we're back in it.
I think we're doing well. I think we have a method to the madness. I don't think saying the books are slipping is a very intelligent thing.
They're slipping in certain areas. There's banana peels everywhere. Let's get up to the Cure Hotline now. Got him on the line. Cecil Joyce. He's a high school sports reporter for USA Today Network. You can follow him on Twitter at Cecil_Joyce. Cecil, thank you so much for jumping on with us, man.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Obviously, we're getting into another Friday night football contest happening all across the mid-state, all across, I guess, a lot of states right now in this country. What game tonight are you going to be at?
I'll be at Oakland at Blackman.
Now, talk to me.
Game of the year in our coverage area here.
Well, I think it's probably game of the year just in the state of Tennessee, probably. Oakland coming in tonight. What's going on with them? Where are they at in this season? And same with Blackman.
Oakland's ranked number one as expected. They've won 35 in a row. They've won 50-something, I believe, in a row in the region, if that's correct. I mean, they've got a lot of streaks on the line tonight. Blackman obviously has been playing well. They've lost their first game and has bounced back with 5 in a row. Two offenses that are just able to put up a massive amount of points on the scoreboard. I think Oakland's averaging 50 points a game exactly on the season. And Blackman has averaged 46 a game over their last 5. So it's, last year they scored 99 points combined in that game, and it could be more tonight.
Oakland has had some injuries that have been all over the place. I mean, their offensive line had been depleted. They've had some running back issues. They've really just had injuries everywhere. How are they coming into tonight?
Well, quarterback Cade Hewitt's been hobbling some the last week or so. They were off last week, so really not a lot of people really took notice, but he's had a lower leg injuries, I would say. I haven't gotten exactness. I think it's somewhere around the Achilles area, but I haven't been told officially that. He practiced some. He got in some practice this week, so I would not be surprised if he played. But, again, you just never know with injuries like that. So that would be a huge, huge loss if he's not able to play for the Patriots. He's, both a running and throwing weapon for them. So if he does play, I would expect, his ability to run will be taken out somewhat.
Now,
the good news for the Patriots is they're arguably their best defensive player has been out all year. He's back tonight, and that's Eric Taylor, senior safety.
Now, obviously, you cover majority of the Rutherford County area. Talk to me a little bit about Riverdale. I saw that you were out there at the that contest last week where they got the win 21-7.
Last night, yeah. Riverdale, it was a defensive struggle. That game was 7-0 Siegel going into the fourth quarter, and then Riverdale really caught fire. Jalen Thompson, a 2024 four-star recruit, had a pick six for 33 yards that broke a 7-7 tie, made it 14-7, and Riverdale tacked on a rushing touchdown later. Kind of just wore Siegel out a little bit, but it was a must-win for the Warriors. If they'd lost that game, their playoff hopes would have pretty much been gone.
Talking with Cecil Joyce. You can follow him on Twitter at Cecil_Joyce. Other teams going on right now in the mid-Tennessee area that you're kind of been following? Obviously, you're heavy in the Rutherford County area, but has there been any others that have been crossing your list so far?
Well, they're the ones that everybody knows. I mean, Lipscomb obviously is having an outstanding year and attempts to repeat again as state champions in D2 AA. I think they're arguably the best team in the state in any classification, or NBA in D2 AAA could probably make that argument as well. It's a shame that those two won't get to play, or neither one of them will play Oakland this year, because those three teams I think are arguably the best in our area. Ravenwood over in Williamson County has looked awful good. They lost to Oakland, but it was really, really good game there. I wouldn't be surprised if Ravenwood, comes out of the West as a Blue Cross Bowl recipient in that bracket.
In your professional opinion, who would be the best of those three? I mean, that's kind of the three I've been, because we host the show here on WNSR Scoreboard Checkdown. Those are the three teams we talk about the most: Lipscomb, NBA, and Oakland. I personally rank it NBA right now number one, just off straight the schedule, and then Lipscomb, and then Oakland. Do you have any takes on those top threes?
Well, I've obviously seen Oakland. I'm very high on them, but they're a lot younger than people I think give them credit for. I saw NBA in a scrimmage. I think it was a jamboree type scrimmage against Smyrna. NBA is very, very loaded. They're very good. Reed at quarterback is outstanding. They've got a lot of weapons there. Georgia's son out on the edge. They're just a really, really, really complete package. But Lipscomb, I think, is the consensus pick. There's just so much talent on that team, and Dilfer's got that team playing really well right now, and they're nationally ranked in the top, 15 maybe.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much talent, it seems like, coming out of the mid-state area right now that it's mind-boggling right now. Has there been any surprise?
Now, we'll tell you, we as a group, we do our Super 25 statewide poll every week, and as a consensus, we picked Lipscomb, Oakland, and NBA. That would be in that order.
Okay.
Has there been any surprises that have come out at you so far that you've seen?
Big surprises overall? No, not a lot. There's been some teams that have come on strong lately, especially in my coverage area. Stewart's Creek, I probably would have left them for dead after a week or two of the season, and they're playing really, really well right now. They piled it up last night on Rockville in a game and put themselves in a good position to make the playoffs now. So they've kind of turned the season around a little bit. I think pretty much around the mid-state, it's pretty much what you expect. I don't think there's a lot of teams that shocked anybody at the success they've had. Smyrna at 5-0, it's one of their best starts in program history, but they got a huge one tonight against Cane Ridge. That'll probably determine that region championship.
Cecil, thanks so much for jumping on with us, man. I know we got to you a little late here, but still glad to have you on. Always great stuff there. Give him a follow on Twitter at Cecil_Joyce. See his work always with the USA Today Network. Cecil, thanks so much for jumping on, my man.
Thank you. Enjoyed it.
Hey, appreciate it, buddy. Good stuff there. A lot of good high school football. What are we, week 6 now? Crazy.
That's a great question.
I mean, it's it's week 6.
I'll have an answer
we only
for
have
you
4 left.
Here at 9:30.
Of course, you'll be able to hear. Of course, we had our game last night, but then you're going to be able to hear Bruno, Reagan, Ray Dosky, Devlin McKenzie later on tonight for the Mid-State Checkdown game the scoreboard show. The game of the week happened yesterday. These Thursday games have really just thrown wrenches into everything. It really has become just a huge problem. But what can you do? All right, we need to run to a break. If you want to jump in, the Cure hotline wide open, 615-844-5600. Back after this here on the Afternoon Stretch.
Family helped me to fight too. Well, I always loved it. I love it 10 times more.
Not all wounds are visible. If you or a loved one are suffering, visit woundedwarriorproject.org/notalone.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control of your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank accounts, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problem now by calling the experts at U.S. Tax Shield and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. U.S. Tax Shield offers a price protection guaranteed quote to get you protected today. U.S. Tax Shield is A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, so call now. 800-785-9132. That's 800-785-9132. U.S. Tax Shield. 800-785-9132.
It's time to answer our Ask the Pros question of the day, brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Today's question comes from Neil in Omaha. Did you see the poker betting scandal? And can you explain to me what happened? Don't forget, you can submit a question by going to cbssportsradio.com/askthepros or tweeting it at CBS Sports Radio using the hashtag #AskThePros.
Hello, I'm Greg Pogue, and welcome to the Ohio Valley Conference Football.
I'm sorry, Neil. I definitely cannot explain it to you, but I definitely saw it. So, full disclosure, I hope this doesn't, I know nothing about
Skyhawks win over Lindenwood last Saturday. The run is tied for the longest this season by a Division I player, FBS or FCS. Wallace finished with 204 rushing yards, making him one of two OVC players with a 200-yard rushing game this season, along with Tennessee State's Devon Starley. Eastern Illinois opened OVC play with a 35-21 win over Murray State for the first win for Coach Chris Wilkerson at his alma mater. Panthers' Elijah Watt Tolbert had 2 interceptions and has 3 picks on the season to rank 5th nationally. Southeast Missouri debuted in the top 25 poll at number 24 in the Stats Perform poll this week. After a season-opening loss at Iowa State, the Redhawks have wins over nationally ranked Southern Illinois, Nichols, and Central Arkansas. It's the first time the team has been ranked since being number 16 on March 1st, 2021. Wallace and Tolbert were OVC offensive and defensive players of the week, respectively, while SEMO punter Dalen McDonald was top specialist. Co-newcomers were SEMO quarterback Paxton DeLaurent and UT Martin running back Sam Franklin. SEMO at Lindenwood and Tennessee Tech at UT Martin are league games Saturday, while TSU host Lane College in the John Merritt Classic, and Murray State is at Southeastern Louisiana. For complete weekly schedules, including live video links, visit ovcsports.com. To find other news and features and more, follow the league on your favorite social media platforms at OVC Sports and visit ovcsports.com. You won't believe it until you OVC it. This has been the OVC Football Weekly Spotlight presented by Delta Dental of Tennessee. Keep your health care costs low and your health at an all-time high with the power of preventive dental and vision plans from Delta Dental of Tennessee. Choose your health first. Choose Delta Dental. I'm Greg Pogue, wishing everybody a great weekend of OVC football.
Lace-up jeans, parachute pants, sleeveless turtlenecks, your smile outlasted them all. Because great smiles never go out of style, especially when they're protected by Delta Dental. Keep that smile in style for good at deltadentaltn.com.
The dentist will see you now, and now you can see the dentist and the optometrist because Delta Dental covers dental and vision. So go ahead and smile at yourself in that rear view mirror. Then take a look at all the dental and vision bundles at deltadentaltn.com.
It's just a few cocktails at happy hour.
There aren't any cops around.
After every game, we always have a few. It's no big deal.
It was just a few drinks. I'm good.
Hey, I can hold my liquor.
I drink and drive all the time.
If you put away some drinks, put away your keys. Fans don't let fans drive drunk. Brought to you by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office.
It's the afternoon stretch with Zach Williams and Bruno Reagan.
Tony, how you doing, buddy?
Good afternoon, guys. I tell you what, listening to Zach and Bruno and Ray talk, it's just awesome. And I just wanted to give a shout out to y'all.
Hey, Tony, I appreciate that, man. You might have just made a promo for us.
I'm the best.
Bruno is the best. Yes, Bruno is the best.
That ruins the promo.
The afternoon stretch. Afternoon stretch with Zach Williams and Bruno Reagan.
The afternoon stretch. Eventually, they'll have music beds for men.
The afternoon stretch. Bruno Reagan, Devlin McKenzie, Zach Williams here inside the Strike and Spare Family Fun Center studio. If you want to get involved, we want to hear from you. 615-844-5600. The Cure hotline wide open right now. Final segment of the first hour. It's time to keeping it safe picks with Austin Hardy, State Farm.
Time now for the Keeping You Safe Pick of the Week, brought to you by Austin Hardy, State Farm Insurance.
The real safe pick will be Austin Hardy with State Farm Insurance. Check him out at 7110 Town Center Way, Suite 1 in Brentwood, Tennessee. Or you can give him a call at 615. I had his number here and I just lost it. Right, 615-810-9999. Some of these I have remembered by heart. Some of them though I never remember them by heart because it's just too many numbers all at once. I'm in radio for a reason. I'm red hot right now, by the way, in our keeping a safe picks.
You're doing good, yeah.
I'm doing really good.
Yeah, whatever. Even if I think what you pick is a gas, as I was last time, I'll ride with you.
Plus 440 pick 2 weeks ago. A plus 100 pick last week. I've got a great one.
You want to start us out?
I want you to start because I want to keep same order. I'm not superstitious, but I am a little stitious, so I want to keep the same order here. You go ahead and start, Bruno.
I feel like a man who just had a vision, a prophecy, a dream. The algorithm really
Leonardo.
The algorithm forcing Alvin Kamara down my throat. I'm going in London. In it.
Football, isn't it?
Football in London, in it. Alvin Kamara over 53.5 rushing yards.
53.5 is his line?
Yes.
This is a good one. This is going to be a good week. And
you know what I do? I always throw it down on this
parlay.
Little
parlay. FanDuel. OTAS.
And we have to have that discussion. So you go next.
Devlin, this is where, as hot as I've been, it's as cold as you've been.
Now I'm going to leave it. I'm going to leave it up to Devlin. He's a grown man. Devlin, it's your choice. Do we rock with the pick one more time, or do we fade you?
I don't think you're going to want to fade this one.
Oh, we're fading him.
We're
fading him hard. I can already tell.
I trust the gut.
I'm sticking with the hype. I'm going to let it keep going. Kansas, Iowa State.
Whoa.
Iowa State's not bad.
Kansas is a 3-point dog.
Are we taking the points or money line here?
I'm taking the money line.
Oh, I'm in.
Plus 125.
They are having a Cinderella story. It'd be a shame if it ended against the Cyclones.
Did you see the TikTok he put up, the quarterback?
I did.
And it was against I'm forgetting now. Now I've just dropped out of my mind. But it was a tied ball game, and they have one timeout.
Burton see that.
Yeah, I know. Gosh, I hate that guy. But it's and he's like sitting there on the sideline. He's hyping himself up, and he's like locked in, and it's like, oh man, this guy kind of seems real to me.
Yeah, it was the most college football clip ever because I always tell you about college football. The highlights are never about the game and the plays. It's just like, look at the atmosphere.
Yes.
Watch us all leave in the first quarter.
Yeah. I don't know. So we're taking this.
Kansas money line. Yep. We got Alvin Kamara over 53.5 against the Minnesota Vikings in London, and we have Kansas money line against Iowa State. And I've already bet against my Iowa State with Baylor, and they won.
One thing to consider. There is no knowledge behind my pick. It is strictly based off of feeling.
You think that scares any of us? I think those are sometimes the best picks.
That scares me.
Hey, remember when we would have Ian on call and he would drop all the stats, the percentages,
had a lot of research.
It was a ton of research, and every one of those picks lost. I'm telling you, man, the gut is what it is. Corey Sandhagen was a gut call.
West Virginia, by the way, that was the game.
Yeah,
Kansas and West Virginia when they were tied up. Yeah, sorry.
Anyways,
Corey Sandhagen was a bit of a gut when you pick a plus 440 as a lock. It's a bit of a gut, but there was some knowledge behind that. He's not strong enough to knock people out, but he's strong enough to get a doctor stop. I thought he was just going to be a straight up ref stoppage.
Yeah.
For the same reason it was a doctor stoppage, basically.
All I'm saying is you not knowing whether it cashed or not at the end kind of makes it a gut call.
Kind of did. I'll
let it go
fair.
again. Let it rip, Zach. You're on fire.
I got it.
Finish, get us out.
I've got it. This is it. You want to make money, Devlin? This is how you look. If you're tired of being broke, this is the way.
If
you
you
go.
say Titans money line, I'm going to kill you.
No, not Titans money line. I might though later. I don't know. Monday Night Football. Los Angeles Rams taking on the 49ers. The Rams are the underdogs plus 104. That is easy. You're telling me Jimmy Garoppolo is going to come out and do anything? He couldn't do it on the Broncos. They barely sneak a loss to the Broncos in that game. I think 100% here the Rams are going to come out just throwing darts. It was a down week last week for Matthew Stafford. He's going to be bouncing back crazy. This is a lock for me. Money line Rams. I don't care about the spread. I don't care. I'm going straight money line only. How do we like that?
I do like it. I don't love it. I like it.
Okay.
That's what I have to say about it.
You're going to love it when it hits.
Yeah. You know me in the National Football League. I just know that the storylines and the thought process and the discourse and the national media, it's always there and it's always pointing one direction. And then the Jags are top of the AFC South. You know, these things happen.
All right. So what is our total on this? I figured you had the total all lined up here.
FanDuel loading.
Oh, yeah. It's still loading all the price. It's like, this is too good.
I would assume this is going to be around a plus 600, 650.
This is a great return. We've been really solid on these.
Throw down 100 bomb on it. You get back a 600.
Oh, you're eating.
As I always
We're
do,
taking you to
keeping
Sizzler.
safe picks.
Absolutely. Once again, the real safe pick is Austin Hardy, State Farm Insurance. Check them out, 7110 Town Center Way, Suite 1, Brentwood, Tennessee, or give them a call at 615-810-9999. Just keep it at 9 until he answers the phone. Take a quick break. Back after this here on the Afternoon Stretch.
This has been your Keeping You Safe pick. The real safe pick you can choose is Austin Hardy with State Farm Insurance for home and auto. Give Austin a call at 615-810-9999.
Good afternoon. It's Friday. You know the drill. Give yourself plenty of extra time out here out of downtown, especially on the South Loop. Here 40 at Demonbreun Broadway, pretty slow. To the north, that's increasing. Then it starts to really slow. 65 north up through Madison, all the way up into Goodlettsville. Heavy back towards Sumner County on Vietnam Vets through Hendersonville. Heavy, but it's moving. I-40 out past the airport. You got a lot of that traffic headed back towards Wilson County. Ober-Gatlinburg Restaurant and Lounge celebrating Oktoberfest. Check out the details at obergatlinburg.com. I'm Commander Chuck, you're on-time traffic.
William Byron wrecked Denny Hamlin under caution. The whole world saw it, cameras everywhere, and instead of handling it during the race, NASCAR has chosen to penalize the 24 driver and team during the week with fines and points losses. Byron has been slapped with a 25-point penalty. He also lost $50,000 later in the wallet, if that's in fact where he keeps that kind of cash. And Hendrick Motorsports has been hit with the same 25 points in the Owners' Championship. William was third in the playoff standings with a 17-point cushion from elimination. Now with a penalty, he is 10th out of 12th and is 8 points below the cutoff. Hendrick Motorsports announced that they will appeal the penalties with the National Motorsports Appeals Board. Ty Gibbs has some Cup Series learning to do as he tried a retaliation move on Ty Dillon on pit road, putting countless crew members and NASCAR officials in harm's way. For those actions, and it's his second similar offense for this season, he received the following. Since he does not compete full-time in the Cup Series, there's no driver's points loss. His Team 2311 picked up a 25-point deduction in the owner standings, and Ty was fined $75,000. Ty tweeted, quote, "I want to apologize for what happened on pit road during the race on Sunday. I have to have a better understanding of the situation and my surroundings. I'm thankful no one was injured and will learn from it," end quote. Corey LaJoy is this week's guest on the Final Lap Weekly, our NASCAR talk show. Grab it anywhere online, and you are on the Final Lap.
Realtors abide by a code of ethics. This is Article 9 in action. Beth, a first-time homebuyer, knew nothing about the home buying process, except that she wanted to buy a home. But her realtor had the expertise to make sure Beth understood every document, even giving her copies to review with her lawyer so Beth could close on her first home with confidence. Complicated things explained in simple terms. The difference between an agent and a realtor is real. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. That's who we are.
Is there a calculator that can't compute in your kitchen drawer? Recycle it at Staples. A shredder that won't shred under your bed? Or a collection of cables cluttering up your closet? Recycle them now at Staples. With Staples Free Tech Takeback, we'll recycle your old tech free. Plus, rewards members get $5 back in rewards. So if you have modems, mice, and mobile phones making a mess of your home, recycle them now at Staples. Limit 1 reward per month. Redeemable in-store only. Exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/recycling for details.
Golfers, now with Edwin Watts Golf Shops, it's time to hit faster, longer, and straighter with Titleist. The new TSR drivers are designed to maximize distance and elevate your performance. Titleist TSR driver, pushing for perfection every day. Come into Edwin Watts Golf Shops for the new Titleist TSR drivers and get custom fit for free today. Can't make it in store? Visit us online at worldwidegolfshops.com. Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee and family owned and operated since 1968.
Call in now to the Afternoon Stretch, 615-844-5600, and be the most talented person on the show.
Final moments of the first hour here on the Afternoon Stretch, here till 5:50 when the Braves take over, taking on the Mets. I believe it's 5:50. It might be a 6:20 game. I have to look see exactly on that one. But you're going to be able to hear that here on Nashville Sports Radio when that's finished with the Mets, which is a gigantic series. Klein Preston Law Braves update.
I mean, quite simply, the end.
Like, really, this is it. I mean, they have to win this series.
This is really the start of the Braves postseason. Or you could argue that.
Yeah. I think that's a fair argument. I think it's a very fair
Which is when baseball gets fun to watch. So
Mike in Melrose is cussing you out somewhere. He's flipping off a radio station near you.
Hey, he needs to go talk to the baseball fans before me so they can fill up the stadiums. And then I might show up.
First hour is done. Second hour is coming up. We have Justin McFarland of the McFarlands coming on with us here. It's going to be a good show, 2 to 4, starting Monday. Him and Darren McFarland. We're going to talk all about it here. We're going to sway him to our side. I know he was with Pogue and Burton, but we're going to sway him to our side to make sure, the afternoon guys got to stay together. That's really the whole side of this. Whole lot more coming up. Don't go anywhere.
ABC News, I'm Chuck Severson. What was once Hurricane Ian pounding along the coast of South Carolina, where it made landfall today. Storm flooding coastal areas and pushing inland. Ian, no longer a tropical storm, delivered its biggest blow to Florida's southwest coast, at least 21 deaths so far.
President Biden said his heart goes out to all those in Florida whose lives have been devastated by Hurricane Ian, saying in some places it will take years to rebuild.
The situation in Florida is far more devastating. We're just beginning to see the scale of that destruction. It's likely to rank among the worst of the nation's and the worst in the nation's history.
The president said it's not just a crisis for Florida, but an American crisis.
I just want the people of Florida to know we see what you're going through and we're with you. We're going to do everything we can for you.
Karen Travers, ABC News, Washington.
Nearly 2 million customers still without power. On Wall Street, investors concerned the U.S. could be closer to a recession. This is ABC News.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/work. That's ZipRecruiter.com/work.
At CDW, we get sometimes your teams have to be in 2 places at once.
Tell me about it. Our team lead needs to be at a wedding this weekend, but the big presentation is on Monday.
No need to panic. CDW experts can help you implement Citrix Workspace. It allows secure access to desktops from any device. Management is easy, and everyone in your office can stay close to their files and apps, even during the cha-cha slide.
Well, talk about having your cake.
And eating it, too. IT orchestration by CDW. People who get it. Find out more at cdw.com/Citrix.
Whoa, are you kidding me?
There's plenty of game left. Just chill out. If you're too riled up, you won't ever get to sleep tonight.
How can I chill out when I have to put up with this every single week?
Oh, and he gets picked off. Interception.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me.
Okay, that's enough. Here, try these cannabis products from Lab Canna. And these heightened Delta 8 gummies and Karma Calming Caramels will help put you in a better state of mind.
Whether you win or lose, make every game day better with cannabis products from Lab Canna. Learn more today at labcanna.com.
Catch a wave and the amazing tastes of the tropics without ever leaving Nashville with the Hawaiian izakaya-styled offerings at the Hart Restaurant at Bento Living Chestnut Hill. Stop by for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and drinks Tuesday through Sunday, plus brunch on the weekend. Expect fresh, locally sourced, shareable plates, handcrafted cocktails, and of course, the Aloha vibes. To view the menu and make reservations, visit thehartnashville.com. That's the Hart Restaurant at Bento Living Chestnut Hill.
Hey, Bill King here. You want to get your business on my show? Let me explain something. Our advertisers are not just local. We have such a huge streaming audience that our advertisers are everywhere. So if you want to grow your business, you want us to help you do that, email PhyllisKing7, that's number 7, PhyllisKing7 at gmail.com. We'll get right back to you. We'll get your business on the radio, and we'll help you grow your business. Contact us if you want your brand to grow on my show, PhyllisKing7 at gmail.com.
Okay, it's happening. It's the afternoon stretch with Zach Williams and Bruno Reagan. Everybody stay calm. Stay calm.
Let's take some calls from the public, shall we?
Join the afternoon stretch now on the Cure Hotline, 615-844-5600. Now here's Bruno and Zach.
Second hour of the afternoon stretch coming at you here on Nashville Sports Radio. Bruno, Reagan, Devlin McKenzie, Zach Williams inside the Strike and Spare Family Fun Center studio. If you want to get involved, the Cure Hotline wide open, 615-844-5600. And starting this coming Monday, 2 to 4, we are no longer alone here in the afternoons. We will have the McFarland Show with Darren and Justin having one half of that show with us now. Justin McFarland. You can follow him on Twitter at ThisJustinTV. Justin McFarland, how you doing, buddy? Welcome in.
I'm great. How are you guys today?
Doing good.
Great.
This is the first time you've been on the afternoon, so you get to see afternoons at Nashville Sports Radio now.
Yeah, I get to, experience Nolensville Road and all of its glory out there. I do traffic every single day on Fox 17 in the morning. I'm responsible for all of our traffic coverage for 5 hours. And I have to apologize because I've been underdoing it on Nolensville Road. It's far worse than I thought for the traffic on Nolensville Road. So for those who watch me in the morning, I will make a concerted effort to make sure to provide more detours on Nolensville Road because it is bad.
Find the alleyways.
It's bad. Those side streets, it's bad. So we should do something about that as a city. But no, very excited to be here. But I do have to address one thing before we get rolling here. I heard y'all had a problem. I heard from reliable sources that y'all had a problem with my guy John Burton and Greg Pogue. So I'm just trying to find out before I come in the door exactly, what it is that's happening here because, me and Greg go back,
Well, Greg covered Babe Ruth. So,
yes.
I mean, yeah.
Well, he's been there that's true. Now, Greg was old when I met him. That is correct. But, me and Greg go all the way back, to the Tennessee Oiler days, okay?
Oh.
That's how far me and Greg go back. For those of you who didn't know, that's a real thing. The Tennessee Oilers were a real thing.
Yeah,
I know a lot of people that
they don't remember the logo.
They don't.
They don't remember the Oiler with the little
box.
square.
It was a confusing time, I know, but that was a real thing. But I heard y'all got beef. And so, can y'all explain to me why you would have beef with such wonderful gentlemen?
See, this is the problem.
As Greg
this is the
Pogue
problem.
and John Burton and News Channel 5's John Burton.
See, this is the problem. I didn't want you to come in to the afternoons already swayed. And it seems like you're already been swayed.
Well, listen, they talked to me first.
Well, there you go. See,
so, they talked to me first.
Bought and sold
and
already.
I've known them longer than I've known you gentlemen. So, nothing against you know how that is. When you got a boy and then they say, that guy over there, I don't like him. Mm-hmm. And then what do? You go, well, I don't know him, but if you don't like him, maybe I don't like him either. So what's up?
You got to remember which team you're on, though. See, your afternoon drive as well now. Their morning show. We don't want to cross those bounds.
We're kind of drive. We're 2
it
to
all
4.
stems off.
It's in it. 4 o'clock hits.
It all stems off
3 to
things.
7.
Kind of blurring the lines there a little bit. Okay, so what is this about?
It all stems off 2 things.
Okay.
I mean, and it really starts with the difference of shows.
I'm
Morning,
listening.
afternoon.
Okay.
Fake, real.
Yes.
Ooh.
I met John. And see how they swayed you already. That's kind of their manipulation point.
Big media always, having their hands in things, trying to sway. This is what they do. This is what they're good at. So, I mean, go ahead and tell the story. Fake, real. Go ahead and get into that.
Yeah, well, I mean, I met John, and I was like, I'm pretty cautious of all media people as we talk about on the show because I like to believe I'm one of the last of the real, right? And I talked to John.
Humble. Very humble guy.
Well, he got me too. That's the problem with John. He got me too. He was like, I'm a wrestler, and I was like, great, we're talking about wrestling, all of that. And then comes out, not to break kayfabe, but he's not a real wrestler. And a lot of people gave me heat for saying that about John. But it's true. And then John was like, I might not be a real wrestler, but I could take you on. I was like, bet, let's do it. We had date, time, Reagan Martial Arts, my own home. And it would be fair. I was like, you can bring your entourage. I bring my entourage. No shows.
It's just me.
No shows. Yeah, I mean, yeah. But that's
it's just me, but I got a Bruno shirt. I'm wearing Bruno's game-worn Vandy jersey.
So we've been on a year of this. We've been on a year of this Cold War, and it really hasn't slowed down. It's only ever picked up.
And this is the thing, Justin. I don't blame you. I don't blame you. But see, Burton started this. That's the key to all this. Burton started. We were cordial.
Burton started this by challenging. Is that what we're talking about here?
Challenging Bruno.
Challenging Bruno.
And then he didn't back it up. Then Bruno goes off to the USFL, does great things with the Tampa Bay Bandits down there, becomes a big star down there. They picked up his second-year option. A lot of good things there.
Sure.
Then he goes after me. And what he does is, you would understand this too from your angle of the TV side. He brings me on to his Channel 5 Plus, his show, Sportsline.
Yeah, that's nice over there.
And attacks me. I'm ambushed. I had no idea. He said, "Hey man, come on the show. We'll talk
hit you with
sports."
a chair, or what did he do?
It was over the phone, and he uses photos of me that shouldn't be used. I mean, it was a full ambush.
Hit piece.
Yes, really.
So
John
got
tough.
you with a hit job.
Exactly. And then, I challenged. I went to his show. I went to one of their remotes and challenged him to a wrestling match of his kind.
So was this unscripted? You just showed up?
Yes.
You just showed up.
He was in strike and spare.
That's how they roll. You guys just pull up.
I'll pull up. We'll pull up
just
on
pull up wherever.
You got that from me.
You just
what did Lil Wayne say? What did Lil Wayne say? Show up to your front door like you ordered me. That's what I'll do. I'll show up to your front door. And I did. And Strike and Spare in Hendersonville, they had a show out there, our lovely studio sponsor here on Nashville Sports Radio.
Of course.
They were in my area. Hendersonville's my land. I don't even know how Greg Pogue and Burton got the okay from the families to let them in, but they did somehow. They snuck in through the Strike and Spare window. I get it. But I showed up, challenged him. It's been crickets ever since. He doesn't want to. He's scared. He even said, I got to see if it's worth my time.
Wait, so now John is scared.
Yes. That's the real side of it.
It's
deep. This has levels. It's like an onion.
I may have to use my journalistic skills and launch an investigation as to exactly who's telling the truth here and who's not.
And that's the thing. We're wide open. John, there's a level of manipulation to it. I just want to get that out there in my own sort of subtle way.
You're going to do more investigative work than the NFL will on if Tua had an actual concussion or not.
That thing is concerning, obviously. And, obviously you play ball, and I've talked to a lot of guys who've obviously played football as well. And they talk about the roughness of the game and the way to handle certain things, and it has to be concerning at the very least to the NFL that after a $765 million lawsuit and settlement, and after all the rules and the protocols and everything else, that we are almost back where we started with the concussion discussion here across, because this opens up a chapter that they don't want to talk about at all. They were happy to move on from it.
Yeah.
And so now here we are front and center again talking about this. And when I started covering the NFL in 98, oh God, but it's
Nashville's
true.
a little different than
it's true. And Nashville's very different, but we didn't do a whole lot of concussion stuff, as journalists. We didn't ask, what happened? You guys bell rung, and we'll see if he can make it back, and that was it. And either he was back or he wasn't, and that was all. There was no discussion about this, and clearly life has changed, and for rightfully so. But Tua, and God bless him, I hope he's doing well and recovering. But he has opened up a discussion here across the league and across the sports world. Because what parent is sitting at home watching that with their kid going, that's exactly what I would have signed my son up for as soon as they get of age. We're going to run them right down there and do that. It has an effect across the entire sport. And the NFL doesn't have – I don't know if the NFL has the mechanisms really to do what needs to be done to probably address the issue.
Well, the only way
to see.
Yeah, the only way to address the issue is to not play the game.
You're never going to run away from this discourse. That's what I said earlier today. I mean, this is football, 100% injury rate. You can never stop brain trauma in the game of football, as violent as it is. Just as you can't stop it in soccer, you can't stop it in rugby, and it does supersede football. I think football is just the biggest medium we have right now, so that's where the discussion
you can't stop it. But is it possible to be more cautious? Is it possible to be safer?
I think the NFL
than what we
trying.
just saw.
Yeah, I think the NFL is trying. Well, comes down to as an athlete, you have to trust, because if Tua was truly concussed on Sunday when he had the trip, if you're concussed, you don't have the right, you don't have the you don't have the autonomy to declare yourself clear. You're like, I'm okay.
Sure.
You're supposed to leave it to the third party. And by all accounts, it seems like they did. Now, the NFLPA is going to launch their own independent investigation. But I think you raised the biggest question. I mean, the NFL can't run from this forever. And it feels like the only way to get to like have a public stance is just to accept the violence of the game at a certain degree. And, targeting, they try, I don't know, maybe they'll come after kickoffs one day, even though that wasn't the particular issue here.
Which they already have, right? They shorten the length of a kickoff to be able to basically just kick it into the end zone every time.
But
they've done these things.
Think about that. When's the last time you saw a kickoff return for a touchdown?
Yeah.
In the NFL, like you really have to stop and almost think about it.
The Dante Hall and a guy from Chicago,
Devin Hester.
Devin Hester, thank you, who had slipped my mind. I mean, those days are gone.
Yeah,
those Josh Cribbs, those are gone.
If you give up,
all the obscure
if you give up
ones.
special teams touchdowns on kickoff return, you're fired. Fired.
Yeah. But it's very reminiscent of in this country back when Pogue first got into media, boxing. How it was early 1900s. Boxing was the biggest sport, and then you get up into Muhammad Ali and where he was and what boxing was then you get a kind of like the look of Tua last night. You get an aging boxer like Muhammad Ali, and families and mothers are like, no more boxing, and it's virtually
people
dead
who play
now.
football. People who play football are coming out. They're like, you're not doing that.
Mike Ditka, one of the Iron Mike Ditka, he comes out and he said, I would not let my son play football nowadays.
If Mike Ditka says that, I mean, who's a bigger ambassador for the sport of football than Iron Mike Ditka?
Yeah,
and he's speaking like that. It speaks a lot about the sport moving forward and what people are going to do, and what may end up happening is people end up playing football for a shorter period of time. People end up retiring, at age, and we're already seeing that, retiring at age
Calvin
25,
Johnson.
26 now. Even before you're retiring halfway into the second contract now. You get the bag, and then after that, once the money's guaranteed, you get the signing bonus. You turn 26, 27, you decide, you know what? We're not going to 33, 34, 35 with this thing. We're done right now because we want to live the rest of our lives here with some safety.
And be able to use the money.
And be able to actually use the money,
Right.
and enjoy the money without, the other repercussions that come with long-term playing football. When we look at some of the elders of the game, people who used to run like deers, and then you see them in, walkers now or barely can move.
More tragic stories like Junior Seau, different things like that, or the former Tampa Bay player that.
By a percentage case, it is a lot more alarming regarding the National Football League when it comes to, without coming out saying it's suicide, preventable suicide.
Yeah.
So.
Well, the violence of the NFL is just, I talked about the fact that I covered the NFL. I covered the Titans from 1998 until 2005.
The fun years.
Back when they had 3 days.
These are the fun years.
Yeah, for the
you got out when you were smart.
For the Tennessee Tribune here in town, and let me tell you, the 2000 playoff game between the Ravens and the Titans was carnage that is almost indescribable even at this moment, because you're talking about two grown men football teams getting down out there for an hour. And, Ray and Peter Boulware and those maniacs against, Eddie and Steve and, Brad Hopkins and those types of people on the other end. I mean, it was, you heard the collisions and you felt the collisions there in the stadium. And I can honestly say I've never seen a game that physical ever again than that 2000 game for the Ravens and Titans, because it was two teams that just weren't not going to give an inch at all. And it was an ugly, physically tarnishing football game. And I know there are men walking around today who played in that football game who occasionally catch a limp and they go, oh, that's that 2000, playoff game against, over at Adelphia Coliseum. And, we don't see games like that anymore because the game style has changed. We're throwing the ball a lot more, so we don't have the collisions, at the line of scrimmage to the same degree because the power running has left the game now. During that era in the old AFC Central, and I'm going to take people back here for a minute, Corey Dillon for the Bengals, okay? Corey Dillon, Eddie George for the Titans, Oilers, whatever. Jerome Bettis for the. This is all in the same division. These guys are playing each other, 6 times a year. We're doing this. Jamal Lewis for the Browns at that point. I mean, and by the way, Fred Taylor, all in that same division.
Yeah, they're
those
monsters.
Styles of running. You played O-line, my man. Those styles of running backs and that physical nature between the tackles are things we just don't do that anymore.
Everything is much more downhill because, the people are going to point to Andy Reid. Linebackers are on their heels now. They have to play coverage. You get skinnier guys. That's kind of the vibe. And
Zach Cunningham.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Zach Cunningham himself, one of the best tacklers in the NFL, but he's not a Ray Lewis build.
No, I mean, Ray Lewis, was the optimal linebacker back in the day, but you get him out in the game, he might be a little too short. He might not be able to go boundary to boundary. That's the discourse nowadays. So the game changes like that. And I think the players change a little bit too.
Yeah.
Just player mindset really, really does. And from what I've heard from the people I know in the league, when you get into the garbage time, a lot of people really do take their foot off the gas pedal, whereas back in the day, it didn't happen. I mean, there was a lot of pride back in the day. So,
I mean, those guys played with a deep passion that is tough to. And I'm not saying these guys don't have passion or don't want it. Don't get me twisted at all.
No, it is.
I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that it, as you mentioned, is very, very different now. And we've seen the game change, and perhaps events like last night will change the game yet again in a different way. I don't think football's going anywhere. I think that we're going to continue to kick it off on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. But what is that going to look like long term?
Thursdays, Mondays.
Well, that's a whole other thing. Is Thursday nights when I was a kid for football was for small colleges. It was for Central Michigan against Youngstown State. That's what you saw on ESPN on Thursday night. It was your first glimpse maybe at MTSU. If you've never heard of MTSU, where did you see MTSU? ESPN2 on Thursday nights because there was nothing else on. And so the NFL comes in and they kind of swallow up all that energy, but at what cost? Because now you've got guys playing on 5 days rest now. And, the players have made it no secret. They don't care for it. They don't,
Yeah.
So I'm sorry. I know I've been talking.
No, hey, these are the kind of conversations you're going to start getting on 2 to 4 right here, except it'll be us less and it'll be more Darren McFarland.
Less House of the Dragon name dropping and more sports talk.
House of the Dragon? What?
You never Game of Thrones?
No, man.
Oh,
See,
no.
that's what I'm saying.
See, this is going to be a good blend. It's a good blend there.
A lot
2
of
to 4
people
coming
heard
here.
you say, "What is that?" And they went, "Thank God, we're going to get a real." They're going to get a real sports show.
So Monday it all kicks off. You and Darren McFarland. What to expect with that? What's the first day? Is there a special guest? Is there a special? Is it all wrapped up still in secrecy?
Well, the special guest is us. Like, why do we need a special? We special. We not special. I thought we were special. Darren and I will be here, and yes, we will have a few guests here, and obviously it's the day after the Titans and Colts, and obviously that's going to dominate a lot of the conversation. UT is off, so it's going to be huge. Whatever happens this weekend in the I-65 series, Game 1 is going to be massive for the rest of the year. And obviously, we'll spend a lot of time, discussing that and probably talking a little bit more of an introduction into who we are, how we came together. For the listeners who are here, people don't know here on 56, and it wasn't in this location, but I began my radio career at WNSR, except it wasn't in front of a microphone. It was sitting behind a board over there, and I was doing board op work for Nashville Sounds Baseball. Back when they were playing in the PCL, which means that it was the Sounds and the Fresno Grizzlies, okay? First pitch at 9:05 Central Time. First pitch, okay? And the Sounds and the Tacoma Rainiers. First pitch, 9:05.
And Bruno, that's
Central
not PCL
Time.
in your knee, by the way. That's a conference in minor league baseball.
I did tear that one.
The Pacific Coast League before they switched to the international league, I guess they call it now. But it was I sat up there and I did board op work for Nashville Sounds Baseball, for TSU football, and kind of got my radio legs up here at WNSR. So it's a full circle moment for me to be back here on the airwaves instead of sitting behind the board. And it's very cool, and I'm appreciative of Darren. I met Darren at Ted Rose Golf Center. in the late 90s. He was doing a remote. And you guys talked about it. I rolled up on him. I rolled up. I rolled up. I was like, what's up? No. I rolled up, and we got to talking, and we, knew each other throughout the years. And this came together, and I'm appreciative of my bosses over at Fox 17 for letting me do this, and for the opportunity to come here and do this, and even to talk to guys like you. It's the next generation of sports talk, and even though I remember things that people are younger and don't remember, there will be a day when you're going to be the elder and you're going to remember, I don't know who this guy is, but let me tell you about Derrick Henry.
Yeah, no,
Derrick
how
Henry
crazy is that going to be?
Was
one day?
the truth, man. You don't know, but Derrick Henry was the greatest.
Let me tell you about Jake Locker. Man, this guy could just...
I don't know if you want to remember that, but that's a whole thing. We are growing up literally as a sports city.
Mm-hmm.
Back in the late 90s, there was no sports here.
Yeah.
And now we are growing into our mid-20s.
Isn't that insane?
As a sports town. And we are starting to develop history.
Mm-hmm.
We are starting to develop. Remember, Jake, we are starting to develop players who didn't do so well. Draft bust.
Right.
Who didn't work out. And that is something still new for us. Multiple coaches. We had one coach for, 15 years. And now we've gone through a few coaches now, and that builds character as a sports city. And, that's something I'm excited to get into as well. Even with the Predators, we're starting to build, a legacy like players of the past.
Jordan Tutu and
Jordan Tutu.
Those people you bring up, people are like, oh, I remember Jordan Tutu.
Mike Dunham, Captain Tom Fitzgerald, Martin Erat, Paul Correa. Those guys have now, gone on. Those are flashes from the past now, and we can move on to today. Now we're moving on to Philip Forsberg. Now we're moving on to Niederreiter.
UC.
And UC. We're moving on now,
Yep.
and that's what's cool. Now, what's still missing is the chip.
Yeah.
We don't have
That's
one.
been the same. That's been the constant
We don't
for
have
Tennessee
one.
as a whole.
We've gotten conference finals for both teams. Got one apiece in their history now. We've gotten to the dance, but we have yet to bring home that championship. And when I looked at Tampa Bay, and God bless the folks down there in Florida, by the way, thoughts and prayers to everybody down there recovering. But they got the Cup and the Super Bowl in the same calendar year.
Yeah. Almost had the World Series, too.
Almost had the World. Nashville. We can do this. Can you imagine the party on Broadway if we get the Cup and the Lombardi in the same year? Can you feel what that does? The chill bumps not race up and down your arm just thinking about what that party is like? You think the NFL draft was something?
Yeah.
Let's get the Cup and the Lombardi in town.
Yep.
Oh, that would be a party.
The McFarland show is going to be that catalyst that's going to bring it up. 2 to 4 starting this coming Monday. Justin McFarland has been our guest. Hey, man, we appreciate it. We're going to be seeing a whole lot more of you going forward. All I want to say,
man.
I understand John Burton, Greg Pogue, you know him for a long time.
Yeah.
I just want you to be in the middle. That's all it is.
Listen, I'm a journalist. I can be objective. That's my whole job.
That's what we need.
That's my whole job.
Give us a chance.
My whole job is to tell both sides of the story. It's to talk to both sides. Find the fact in the fiction.
Exactly.
Make sure people understand what the real is from the fake, okay?
Exactly.
That's my whole job. So we'll get to the bottom of it at some point.
We're excited
I would
for it.
factionally destroy John Burton.
Okay.
Justin, thank you so much for jumping on us, man.
Thanks,
Looking
guys.
forward to
Appreciate
it.
it
The
very
McFarland
much.
Show. Darren and Justin, 2 to 4, starting next Monday right here on Nashville Sports Radio. We got to hit a break. If you want to jump in, Cure Hotline, 615-844-5600.
But go ahead, yeah. I'll be honest with you. I do not watch much NASCAR. The only time I watched NASCAR was when the pandemic first started, and that was the only thing on, and I decided to place a few dollars at NASCAR and care about it for a few weeks. But go ahead.
Well, you're in New York City, so there is it's not like there's a racetrack in your backyard. But there's been a couple of concussions this season, and the way that NASCAR has dealt with it that I've seen is you'll get a waiver, like an injury waiver, and so in the NFL when players want to play because especially like a lower level guy, he's got to play to get that game check or incentives or whatever. Whereas in NASCAR, they're not losing any incentive. So now the onus and the responsibility goes on to the driver, to where they can afford to sit out a race if they're not feeling it. And Alex Bowman just had, you probably don't know what it is, but he just had a concussion this past weekend from an accident that didn't even look that bad in the comparison to most of the crashes you see. And he wrecked, and then he drove the rest of the race, and then 2 days later he goes to a doctor, and he's out for this weekend.
So what does the waiver do? That's the part that I'm confused about. Just explain the waiver part.
Okay, so earlier in the season, a guy had a concussion, and he was out for 4 races, but he had already won a race, which clinches him into the playoffs.
Okay.
NASCAR had granted him the waiver, and then playoffs rolled around. He said, I'm still not right, so he waived his right to the waiver. But basically, the waiver is there in the place of a serious injury that is on the part of NASCAR's fault, which these concussions have been. Then that is there for the driver to take advantage of. That NASCAR gives them that opportunity.
What, to still get paid is what you're saying?
Yeah, no. NASCAR is not a per race basis. Yes, the purse is.
But what is the waiver do? This is where you're losing me. I don't get what the waiver does. What does the waiver do here?
Oh, well, the waiver itself is like, okay, you're not going to get any points as a driver for this race, but that waiver will go on, that waiver will exclude that race for you, is what I'm trying to say.
Gotcha. Alex, appreciate the phone call. I don't know how that relates to the conversation in terms of the NFL on how we could maybe change the protocol here, but here's the bottom line. If you leave it in the hands of the player, 9 times out of 10, the player is going to go out on the field and play if he's told he could get on the field. I don't know, with what we saw last week, how he passed those tests. Like, I don't. It doesn't make sense to me. He's clearly wobbly, but an independent neurologist and a team doctor said that he didn't have a concussion. So it's like, what is McDaniel going to do? What's Tua going to do in a spot like that? They're going to play him. Scott in California next up. Scott, go ahead.
Hey, guys. I was just trying to chime in on this. I'm trying to be remembering what I was wanting to say. I believe that I saw both of the hits, and I don't believe that they put him out too quickly. They go through cognitive tests. They do a lot of it's not one doctor saying, like, putting a flashlight in his eye and saying, hey, you're good to go. They do CAT scans, and he's young enough to where maybe it didn't affect him much. What I saw last night, that is a concussion with the hands locking up. So he's going to be out for a while. But isn't it possible that they didn't run him out there too early, but it's possible that he just had 2 major hits where he hit his head? And maybe we need to talk to the Miami Dolphins offensive line more than the doctors and not doing the protocol.
Well, Scott, I don't think that's fair to blame it on the offensive line. You don't need to be thrown to the ground hard, and I didn't think last night was all that bad, and taking hits, it's part of the game. So if you're going to say, oh, the offensive line needs to protect him better, sure, every offensive line needs to protect the quarterback better, but I would not blame that on the offensive line last night. I don't think that's very fair or very reasonable. But the thing is, and I'll keep on saying this, and I'll sound like a broken record player, what we saw last week was a guy that could not stand up straight. And he was somehow cleared to get on the field in the second half. I just wonder what made the doctors say that he was good and did not have a concussion. And is it possible that he didn't have a concussion last week? Yeah, it's possible. But then what you saw last night, we know was a concussion. And when you see it his hands locked up like that, maybe it was one isolated incident where that could happen. But it's impossible when you see last night not to think about last week where he leaves the game, you're not thinking he comes back, and then does return to the contest. So there was never a doubt in my mind this week that leading up to it, he was going to play because he played the second half up against Buffalo. But it is also tough for me to say that he didn't have a concussion last week. But I'm not the doctor. So the doctor said he was good to go. They played him, and that's what happens. If the team gets told by the medical staff, he's good to go, you don't ask any further questions. They just don't. They just put the player on the field. Drew Tranquil going to join us next. It is Zach Gelb Show on CBS Sports Radio. Let's get the latest CBS Sports Radio update in with the Ackman, Rich Ackerman.
CBS Sports Radio.
Sports Flash. And it's brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Insurance for motorcycles, boats, and RVs. For protection on the road and on the water. See how much you could save at 1-800-PROGRESSIVE and Progressive.com. Tua Tagovailoa had more tests today after concussion last night, but is feeling better, although he is still suffering from headaches. The Dolphins came under heavy criticism for the handling of his injuries Sunday when it was suspected he had a concussion, but was cleared. The NFLPA is currently investigating the matter. Head coach Mike McDaniel emphasized at his press conference the priority to place the person over the player and guaranteed he would never have put his quarterback in harm's way.
I wouldn't have put him out there if there was any inclination given to me whatsoever that he was endangering himself from that previous game.
The Saints' Michael Thomas is out Sunday because of a toe injury, and Jameis Winston hasn't practiced at all this week. He's doubtful, with Andy Dalton expected to start. Amon-Ra St. Brown's great start has been halted by an ankle injury as he has been ruled out. DeAndre Swift likely to miss this weekend's game as well. The Panthers' Christian McCaffrey questionable with a quad injury, and the Patriots make it official that Mac Jones is out. David Montgomery will sit for the Bears against the Giants. Baseball tonight, the Yankees and Orioles get underway.
Check down high school football game of the week, and located in the heart of Music City, the Omni Nashville Hotel is your only choice. The Omni Nashville Hotel, 5th Avenue, downtown.
That's the sound of a crack in the ceiling found at a home inspection. But with a Realtor by your side, a newfound leak might only cause minor worries. With their expertise, a Realtor can suggest a credit at closing and even connect you to a contractor to help you shore up that leak and alleviate your worries. When it comes to cracks in your plans, the expertise of a Realtor can make all the difference. The difference between an agent and a Realtor is real. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. That's who we are.
Geico presents Daily Affirmations.
Repeat after me. We are filled with an abundance of joy.
We are filled with an abundance of joy.
Also an abundance of questions. Good thing Geico has 24/7 claim service to help answer questions and resolve claims quickly.
Good thing Geico has 24/7 claim service.
We are also filled with an abundance of biscuits.
We are also filled with I don't think it works this way.
Oh, and jam. Don't forget jam.
To manifest more Geico in your life, go to geico.com.
When was the last time you did something fun with family, friends, coworkers, and clients? What if I told you about a place under one roof that offers affordable entertainment for all ages? That's what you'll find at Strike and Spare Family Fun Centers in Donaldson, Hermitage, Tusculum, Hendersonville, and Murfreesboro, with bowling, games, food, drink, and entertainment for all ages. Enjoy an enhanced experience in Hendersonville or Murfreesboro, where they feature additional fun with bumper cars, laser tag, roller skating, and more. All locations are open 7 days a week, including holidays. Visit online at strikeandspare.com. Strike and Spare, where fun is bowling.
This is the Greg Pogue and John Burton Show.
Welcome, Angie McCartney.
When he'd come home, Jim would say to him, "How are your bowels, son? Are you eating stuff?" "Oh, Dad, you know, I'm a Beatle. You don't ask me about my bowels." "Oh, it's not that funny. Come on."
We didn't expect me talking about Paul's bowels this morning.
Greg Pogue and News Channel 5's John Burton, WNSR, Nashville Sports Radio.
The Afternoon Stretch, the show endorsed by News Channel 5's John Burton.
You heard it, John Burton's favorite show here, The Afternoon Stretch. Bruno Reagan, Devlin McKenzie, Zach Williams here inside the Strike and Spare Family Fun Center studio. Cure hotline wide open, 615-844-5600. It is Friday. We appreciate Justin for jumping in, but it did push our Fantasy Football Fridays, so we got to get into it.
It's time to click your heels together and jump into the land of make-believe, where mediocre high school players who played on mediocre high school teams think they know more than a professional head coach. It's Fantasy Football Fridays.
Fantasy Football Fridays. Do you have any questions, comments, concerns? We are here to help you. Bruno Reagan, wide open ears right now because I know he's got tons of questions himself. Let's go to the Cure hotline, though. Bob in Bellevue. Bob, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, fellas, glad that you picked up that Aldo Nova song, Fantasy. I've been doing this for years, and I've never heard anybody use that song. That song's from 1982, but it's a good song. Aldo Nova, a guy from Canada there.
Well, Bob, I got to tell you.
Hey, Bob, he is from Canada.
I got to be honest here, Bob. We've had that as our intro for 2 years now, so I appreciate you listening.
You're the only one. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, I
no
see.
other show that I've ever listened to has played that, and it's the best. You could do Rock and Roll Fantasy by Bad Company, but not quite as good. Not quite as good. So anyway, good
appreciate
choice there.
that.
Let me start off real quick by saying the Chargers coach is an idiot. We already knew that. He had Justin Herbert in a game. In the final 4 or 5 minutes, he played the whole game. He's out there in the final 4 or 5 minutes. They're down by 28 points. He's trying to throw a touchdown pass on the final play. And after the game, the coach said, well, Herbert wanted to be on the field with his teammates. That's an idiot. That's an idiot. You get him off the field when that's a 21-point lead in the fourth quarter. You get Justin Herbert off the field. He was already hurt going into the game.
Yeah. No, I agree. This is the same guy who took the timeout, though, against the Raiders that effectively made it not getting into the playoffs last year. So Brandon Staley is a little behind the 8 ball.
He's a nut, and I think the Dolphin coach is right there with them. They look like brothers to me. I think that guy's also a buffoon. Really, really. I don't know how these guys get NFL coaches when they're that bad. So anyway, let's talk a little fantasy. I'm in 4th place in one league, 5th in the other, so I'm mediocre but hanging in there. So at Flex in one league, I've got Jacobs, Akers, and Connors, and I'm going to start Jacobs. So what do you think?
Yeah, that's like the 3 horsemen of mediocre that's on that. It's tough. It's tough. I really don't know. Honestly, they're all bad options.
Hey, Jacobs is not splitting time with anybody.
That's the real side of it. I was going to say Jacobs to go with. I'm playing Jacobs just because it's.
But he said James Conner?
Conner, yeah.
Yeah, I have Connor or Akers, but with the Rams, you never know. Unless Todd Gurley comes back, you never know who's going to play for them.
Yeah. And the same for...
Know. I'm going to go Jacobs. Now, in the
like
other
that.
league, this will be easier for you in the other league. I've got, let's just go to the flex. If Kamara's healthy, he plays. I mean, it's that simple, right?
Yes.
There's no one. So if it wasn't him, it would be Zeke or Cortland Sutton. So I think Zeke is going to play. I think Kamara's going to play.
Well, Kamara, this is his primed out week. I mean, they lost Winston, they lost Thomas. Andy Dalton's going to want to just check it down, get it to someone who can make people miss in space. Sure. They're going to hand the ball off. Yeah, I think this is Alvin Kamara's coming out week, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, this would be a nightmare if he didn't play and they put in what's his name, the little backup there. So,
Mark Ingram.
All right, fellas. Yeah. All right, fellas, I appreciate it. So Monday night, I had a 20-point lead. My opponent had Barkley. Barkley scored 18, and I won 108-106. Glorious. I couldn't have done it without you guys.
Hey, we appreciate it, Bob.
See you, fellas.
Thanks, buddy.
That's awesome to hear because who else won? Who won off of Barkley? You.
This guy who needed 18 points
to
win.
Not in the listener league, but in another league.
Yeah, in another league. My main home league, which is, frankly, I think the home league is your main league, in my opinion. Like, that's the one I care the most about. I love the show league. Don't get me wrong. But I just, it's something about beating up on your buddies that is just the best. and I do that a lot in that
Fair
league.
enough.
So I just have to, I can only beat up on you or Ray or Bobby for so much. I mean, some of the listeners, Adam in Portland is taking that league by storm right now, by the way. He's scoring like, when everyone else is scoring 100 points, this guy's scoring 200. It's crazy. And so Adam in Portland, congrats. You're winning right now. But Nick, you can ask Nick. He's been there. And he got put in the doghouse immediately. So just know that because majority of everybody gets into the playoffs. Right now, me and Bruno fighting for air to get into the playoffs. Not going to lie.
How does it work? Bottom 2 teams don't get in, or is it from each conference?
Bottom 2 total.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm beating you.
Yeah, but it'll be me and you. I'm saying bottom of the entire league.
I hope I play you again. Maybe I can get out.
We should. We should play again. A home and away.
That's good.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we'll play another one. So,
I can hopefully
I win. I hope I win that one. And then when I win, you're in the bottom.
Yeah, I was projected first on like all the ESPN stuff, and now I'm like 7th.
That tells you a lot. We need to run to a break, get back on schedule here, but we have some more fantasy football talk, and then also Bruno's bets coming up too. If you want to jump in, Cure Hotline, 615-844-5600.
Good afternoon. It's still very busy out here on all the major outbound routes. This rain not helping rush hour traffic. Still slow go 65 north of Vietnam Vets. I still see it's just dragging on 40 west out here around 46th Avenue on the west side. Traffic's increasing down through Brentwood, Franklin. Again, just give yourself extra travel time. Be careful. Ripley's is hiring all 10 attractions. Check them out online at ripleys.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Are you tired of your current vehicle? Maybe looking for a new or pre-owned vehicle? Hey guys, it's Zach. Hayes Nissan of Rivergate is the best choice for your vehicle needs. Located at 1550 Gallatin Pike North in Madison, Hayes Nissan of Rivergate has been serving the Middle Tennessee community for over 3 decades. That gives you confidence that Hayes Nissan of Rivergate can find the perfect vehicle for your lifestyle and your budget. Their friendly and knowledgeable staff will make sure you are taken care of. I should know because I've seen it firsthand. Every vehicle I've purchased has been from Hayes Nissan of Rivergate, and I love the entire process. Now, I don't want you to forget about their award-winning parts and service department. It has everything you need to get you back on the road. Go visit them on the web at nissanofrivergate.com. They're open there 24/7, 365 days a year. Or give them a call at 615-865-7220. Again, that number is 615-865-7220. That's Hayes Nissan of Rivergate, where your dollar always goes farther.
Douglas is a real Prevagen user and paid testimonialist.
My name is Douglas. I'm 79 and I live in Chicago. I'm a writer, director. I used to be a marathon runner. Now I'm a walker. In the kind of work that I do, you are surrounded by people who are all younger than you. Memory became a factor. As everyone gets older, where did I put my keys? But I had to get help to stay competitive. I happened across Prevagen, and I started taking it. I saw myself having an improved memory, which at the same time, I felt better about myself. I could not be doing what I'm doing today had it not been for Prevagen.
Prevagen, healthier brain, better life. Prevagen is available in stores everywhere. Based on a clinical study of subgroups of individuals who are cognitively normal or mildly impaired, this product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Mid-10 Roofing is on the air saluting the brave men and women of our U.S. military. Their tireless efforts each and every day will never go unnoticed. This proud salute is brought to you by Mid-10 Roofing. For residential and commercial roofing projects, gutter installation, and more, call today for a free estimate at 615-472-1538. That's 615-472-1538. Mid-10 Roofing. They're professionals who care.
Your exclusive Nashville Sports Radio WNSR Sky Scan forecast for this afternoon calls for sunny and breezy conditions. Our high 78 with winds to 25 miles an hour. Tonight it'll be clear with a low of 50 with winds to 20 miles an hour. We'll have a sunny, breezy Saturday. Our high 77 and winds to 20 miles an hour. It'll be mostly sunny and breezy Sunday with a high of 73. Utilizing the resources of the Weatherbug Network on Nashville Sports Radio, I'm WNSR's Rod Tanner.
Sports Radio, WNSR.
The afternoon stretch. The best show. I don't know if I can say that, man. I'm going to move on to the next one.
Final segment of the afternoon stretch here on Nashville Sports Radio. Bruno, Reagan, Devlin McKenzie, Zach Williams here inside the Strike and Spare Family Fun Center studio. So still some fantasy football talk. Then we'll get into Bruno's bets here. Bruno, you said you had some questions and where you're trying to go right now. So what are your problems that you have right now?
Well, really, it's the opposite of you, which I don't know. My running back room is a problem because Christian McCaffrey, what do I do with him? Do I trade him? And I teased it a little bit, but it's just so much value to give away. And CMC did win me the league last year. That blockbuster move to get him won me the league. So I don't want to give up on him, but, it's starting to trend towards injury, and we could lose him for weeks, and we need him. We're starting to fall behind. And then my RB2 is James Conner, who has struggled. And all the fantasy pundits, experts are like, he's going to bounce back. He's going to have a big week. He's going to be an RB1, but it's yet to be seen. Mike Evans has been suspended. Brandon Cooks is falling off. Now Michael Thomas is out. My team's kind of, for lack of a better term, exploding. and I'm trying to find some solace. I'm playing Treylon Burks right now. This feels disgusting.
It might actually be really good for you, though.
You think? You think this is coming out? You've been all about this.
I think it's going to happen. It's going to happen. I think it's going to happen sooner rather than later. But that's besides the point right now.
I do have capital in the form of Mark Andrews. I have the best tight end in the league, outscoring everybody by a mile by tight end standards. Do I shop this guy around? Because I thought about it. And you and me had a little backroom deal.
Yeah.
Fell through. Sorry again. But
which, by the way, I've got to say this. Bush League. I mean, Bruno and I verbally commit. I send the trade immediately. He's like, you can take the end of the show. I'm like, no, let's do this trade. I'm down. Which I wonder if I waited till the end of the show had I been able to get that trade now. But I was going to send you Ezekiel Elliott, and I was going to send you James Robinson. James Robinson, number 4 running back right now in the NFL. I mean, it's for fantasy purposes. So you can't get mad at that. But
I was going to send you CMC.
And you were going to use CMC and Mark Andrews.
Yeah, it was James Robinson and Ezekiel Elliott, who is virtually a nobody.
Still scoring touchdowns. He's having middling days. It's a scary look. I mean,
I wouldn't start him over James Conner. So he would simply be the bench rider. I'm trading 2 starters.
Depth
for
is
one.
what it would have been.
We don't need depth. We need a solid roster out. And this is another thing I would ask you guys. I have Aaron Rodgers as my starting quarterback, and it is underperforming like crazy. Do I go to the waivers and drop Aaron? You know what? Aaron Rodgers is ranked right now 23rd, which is not good.
Yeah.
There's probably someone on the waivers I can get that'll outscore Aaron Rodgers. So do I just
welcome to my world because I have Russell Wilson, who is just.
Well, we're both in the same boat. I would argue you and me. I mean, cut our losses now because what do we have to lose? We're starting to get into danger territory.
I'm going one more game with Russell Wilson.
I think
it's against the Raiders. If he does not show up against an AFC West team, then he's not showing up. Period. I'm done with him. Yeah. Dead to me. A little dangerous, spicy. Be careful. I'm not doing it. Yeah.
Danger witch.
Danger witch. Yeah, so I don't know what you do. I think you trade Christian McCaffrey. I think it's smart to trade him. If you're going to get high value for him, if you can bring somebody in, then you want to have those kind of people. I'm fine with that.
I would trade Christian McCaffrey straight up for a James Robinson, obviously, because James is outperforming Christian right now by a little bit. Christian's 12th, I think, ranked running back. James is 4th, and there's higher upside with Christian, but no one at 4 is going to trade me James Robinson. You won't trade me James Robinson. So who's?
I would if you would have made the trade that we agreed upon verbally.
Well, okay. And on the back end of that was Mark Andrews for Ezekiel Elliott. Very much your favor.
This is the other thing with trades in fantasy football. None of them are even. That's the real side you have to look at. Somebody is going to get a depth piece. Somebody is going to get a better side of that.
The way I looked at it after I thought about it was the first trade I think is fair. It's fair, and it is in my favor a little bit. CMC for James Robinson. That's in my favor.
Let's ask an unbiased opinion. Devlin, do you trade CMC?
Yes. And here's my piece of advice as to why. So I guarantee, because this is in my case, this is the case. Said it twice. But in every single league, I can almost guarantee it that one of the top 4 quarterbacks, a team that has one of those top 4 quarterbacks being Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, and Jalen Hurts, are in the top 4 of most leagues right now.
Right.
If I'm trading right now, it's 100% to get after one of those quarterbacks because they're putting up 30 to 40 points a week, making up for whatever trash that you have in your lineup, and they're winning games week in and week out. If you're going to trade, which I think Christian McCaffrey is a great piece to trade, has a great name, and you might be able to get a high-value quarterback out of him, and if you're going to trade, like I said, it's one of those quarterbacks. I mean, they're winning leagues right now.
Yep.
I think the whole tradition of taking a quarterback after the 7th round to get depth is over. I think those 4 quarterbacks are going to be taken earlier and earlier every single year because they're winning games right now. And in most leagues, those 4 quarterbacks are in the top 4 of leagues.
I'm looking at the bottom teams, which is me, Bruno, Team Burris, and our good buddy Turner. Those are the bottom 4 in each. Kirk Cousins, Russell Wilson, Daniel Jones. These are the quarterbacks that are starting in the top 4. It's those 4 quarterbacks.
Yeah, I mean, they're winning leagues right now.
Yes.
I mean, I never thought that taking a quarterback early was my thing. It never has been. But I'm completely changed my mind now.
Someone took Tom Brady in like the 2nd round of our league.
They're screwed right now. Yeah. So
who was that?
I forget who it was. But yeah, they're screwed right now. But if you have the Lamar Jackson, in other leagues, I went Josh Allen heavy on it. I was doing this Diggs Allen stake. I'm happy in those leagues. I'm sitting fat. So maybe that's what you go for.
I mean, and Nick keeps trying to. We're on episode 10 of this, and it's just not going to work.
Nick is a pest. That's the real side of it. We appreciate him listening to this, but he is a pest with trade offers. He won't accept any of mine. He won't send me any as well. So.
Well, he wants CMC and Mark Andrews, which are the two best players on my team, and he's offering the same thing: Devontae Adams, Kareem Hunt, and then basically nobody's. DJ Moore, nobody.
Players.
Damian Harris, nobody. Those, so it's just not.
It's just tough.
Like I can't even make room for those people.
Can we get a quick Bruno's Bets in?
Let's do it.
All right, let's go.
Now, it's time to make money off of other people playing sports because taking gambling advice from a guy named Bruno isn't shady at all. This is Bruno's Bets.
Guaranteed to pay for that weekend vacation you're about to hit. What do you got for us today, Bruno?
Yes, sir. So I parlayed these picks, which is very much not recommended. I put one unit, Hail Mary parlay, but you can take these 7 straight. I got 7 plays for the weekend, and that is it. Trying to cut back after some big winnings. Starting off, Tulane money line. That's tonight. I always want to get a game Friday night while I'm here in the studio and watching. They're playing against Houston. Houston's awful, and Tulane is the underdog. I took them straight up on the money line plus 165. Kentucky against Ole Miss. Kentucky is a 6.5-point underdog. I've moved that thing back to 7.5, and I threw that into the parlay. If you want to take it straight, you can take the 6.5. But Kentucky's ranked over Ole Miss in the national polls just by that much.
This close to making it my lock.
7 points is a lot of points.
Yes, it's a ton.
So I'm going to take Kentucky plus 6.5. Maryland minus 7.5 against Michigan State. Michigan State has come out and had the biggest turnaround in the wrong reasons. They are an absolutely awful program this season. And Maryland just took Michigan almost down to the wire, so I'm taking the Maryland Terps on that one. The school Stephon Diggs win too. Taking Arkansas plus 17 against Alabama. Alabama has ruined me taking them on the spread, so I'm going the antithesis. I'm taking Arkansas on the spread. I think Arkansas is a decent team. Titans plus 3.5 against the Colts. I think they cover that. The Chiefs in a pick 'em against Tampa Bay. I think they're going to bounce back. And then the Falcons to beat the Cleveland Browns outright. Marcus Mariota is playing out of his mind. And those are my 7 plays.
And what's the payout for that?
That's 1 unit. And my unit right now is 10 buckaroos for 1,000 buckaroos. So if these 7 hit, starting tonight with Tulane money line, which is the biggest underdog, you have a good shot because the rest are minus 110 favorites straight out the board.
The Kentucky one was, it was that close to being my lock.
Yeah, but I love where our lock. I really do love where our locks ended up.
I trust Matt Stafford and the Rams more than I do Kentucky football. That's really what it comes down to. All right, we're done for the week. Everybody have a great weekend. Enjoy some high school football, college football, pro football, everything going on, all the other sports. Great Braves game coming on tonight. That will start 6:20, first pitch 6:05 will be the start of the actual broadcast. That'll get you into Bruno, Ray, and Devlin on the Mid-State Scoreboard Show, or the Mid-State Checkdown Scoreboard Show, starting right as that game ends. But hopefully we're getting a Braves win out of that one and a win throughout this entire series. Have a great weekend, everybody. We'll see you guys Monday here on Nashville Sports Radio.